The transport shuddered violently, a skeletal scream of metal tearing across the barren planet. Ethan Vance slammed into the floor, grit grinding into his palms, circuits sparking overhead. Alarm lights flickered like dying fireflies. The ship was broken, no systems operational, no help coming. A groan of metal drew him toward the wreckage. Kyra's form shimmered under a collapsed hull panel. Her blue skin was marred by burns and cuts. Her breathing shallow, each inhale a struggle. Ethan's fingers shook as he lifted her free, muscles screaming in protest. Her pulse was faint, almost non-existent. Then movement at the periphery. Shadows detached themselves from the rubble. Armored figures, alien, predatory, eyes like molten gold slits scanning for weakness. Ethan froze, but instinct pushed him forward, dragging Kyra toward cover. Her hand brushed the floor, grasping a blade, dark metal, veins of crimson running through it. The Talon. The sword burned against his palm the instant he touched it. Pain flared, searing through bone, sinew, and nerve. But the moment he gritted his teeth against it, the enemy halted. One raised its visor, revealing a pale mirror of Kyra. Fear met recognition, then retreat. The warriors fled into darkness. Ethan stood, hand fused with the alien weapon, chest heaving, knowing nothing would ever be the same. The cave was cold and jagged, but shelter enough to breathe. Kyra sat on the ground, bandaging Ethan's hand where the Talon had fused to his flesh. "The sword chooses," she said, her voice low. "It binds, and it judges." Ethan flexed his fingers, pain shooting in every direction. The weapon pulsed with life, responding to his presence as if it had recognized his instinct to survive. Outside survivors watched silently, whispers threading through the camp. The outsider, the human chosen by the sacred Talon. Night descended, bringing predators and shadows with it. Skulkers, six-legged night stalkers tested their perimeter. Ethan's survival instinct kicked in. Despite pain, he moved to the damaged generator, improvising repairs from shards of metal and frayed wiring. Sparks arced, electricity crackling across his skin, but he endured. The sword guided his motions, instinct merging with human determination. When the skulkers attacked, he swung instinctively. The Talon met them with lethal precision. A new rhythm formed, human courage, alien weaponry, survival instinct in tandem. One by one, the beasts fell, leaving silence in their wake. Kyra's hands tightened around his, blood mingling on the cloth. They had survived, but only for now. The enemy would return. Dawn brought light and ritual. Warriors circled Ethan, weapons raised, eyes narrow. Tar, Kyra's fiercest, challenged him. The sword demanded worthiness. Tradition demanded combat. A human, injured and untrained, faced impossible odds. Tar's first strike was blinding, precise, aimed to test, not kill. Ethan parried, awkward but determined. Muscles burning, blood soaking his sleeve. The Talon shifted in his hand, guiding, teaching. Each movement a conversation between weapon and wielder. The duel escalated, strikes more lethal, defenses more desperate. Sweat and blood mixed on the rocky floor. Finally, Tar spun, a complex strike designed to end him. But the Talon moved of its own accord, aligning Ethan perfectly. The point rested at Tar's throat. "Yield," Ethan rasped. Exhausted, battered, victorious. Tar's disbelief mirrored the astonishment of the clan. One by one they knelt, acknowledging the human as their chosen wielder. Kyra remained, her gaze sharp, measuring, unyielding. Slowly she lifted his bloodied hand high. The Talon had judged. The human had survived. But this was only the beginning. The wind was bitter, slicing across the jagged cliffs of Vale 9. Ethan's boots scuffed over fractured stone as he followed. Kyra deeper into the alien settlement. Every shadow was a whisper of danger, every distant movement a potential ambush. "Listen," Kyra murmured. Her eyes scanned the horizon. "The Drakari patrol at dawn. If we move too slow, we die too fast. And we trigger the traps." Ethan's fingers tightened around the Talon. The weapon hummed, resonating with a rhythm only he could hear. Pain from yesterday's wounds throbbed, but instinct drowned it out. They moved like ghosts, over narrow ridges and through tunnels carved by unknown hands. Suddenly a shriek split the air. 3 patrols, bristling with energy blades, emerged from the haze. Kyra dove, rolling down the slope. Ethan met them head-on. The Talon moved as if alive, slashes precise, a blur of lethal arcs. Sparks lit the darkness as weapons clashed. Breathing heavy, Ethan realized the Talon wasn't just a weapon, it was a teacher. Each strike taught timing, anticipation, strategy. By the time the last patrol fell, He was more than a human with a blade. He was a force shaped by instinct and alien intelligence. Kyra's hand found his, steadying him. "This valley is a labyrinth of death," she warned. "And the Drakari are just the beginning." A deep rumble shook the cliffs. Dust and stone cascaded from the heights. Shadows moved faster than light, converging on their position. Ethan raised the Talon, senses sharp. Whatever approached it would not be easy. Night fell like a curtain, black and suffocating. The Drakari ambush had left scars, burnt tunnels, shattered stone, and bodies that Ethan could not linger over. They pressed on, hearts hammering, every step a gamble. Kyra's voice cut the silence. "We reached the temple tonight." "There, answers, and more dangers." The temple rose from the mist like a monolith, jagged spires scraping the sky, guarded silent ancient. Ethan's mind raced. How could a human survive here? And yet, the Talon thrummed, a heartbeat syncing with his own. Inside, the air was heavy, thick with ritual smoke. Alien glyphs glowed faintly along walls, painting stories of conquest and betrayal. Ethan's steps echoed. Then, a sudden surge of energy, a trap triggered. The floor fell away. He grabbed Kyra's arm mid-leap. The Talon screamed as it struck the walls, halting their fall by the thinnest fraction of a second. They landed hard, bones rattling, dust choking their lungs. Below, a pit opened, a chasm leading into darkness. From its depths, whispers rose, voices alien, mocking, ancient. Ethan's grip on the Talon tightened. One wrong move and the abyss would claim him. Kyra's eyes met his, steady. "The trials are not just tests of strength. They are tests of humanity," she said. A shadow moved behind them, larger than any patrol, faster than any predator. And it was coming for them. The chasm pulsed with unseen energy, light bending unnaturally over its edges. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the Talon vibrate, warning, urging. One step, then another. Each movement was deliberate, calculated. Human determination fused with alien guidance. A roar shattered the silence. From the shadows, a colossal creature emerged, six-limbed, armored, eyes burning like molten steel. Its gaze fixed on Ethan. Every instinct screamed to flee, but retreat was impossible. The Talon pulsed with life in response, as if challenging the beast on his behalf. The first strike came, a swipe that could cleave stone. Ethan parried, feeling the vibration ripple up his arm. Pain flared, then sharpened focus. Counterstrike, dodge, spin. The Talon guided him in a dance of death. Time stretched and compressed, each second pregnant with consequence. Kyra's voice cut through chaos. "Use the terrain. Turn its size against it." He did, baiting the creature into the cavern walls, the Talon slicing through joints, tendons and energy shields. The beast howled, staggering, massive limbs pinned by ingenuity and will. Ethan's breath came ragged. Every muscle burned. One final strike, precise, aimed for the heart of its armor. The beast collapsed, a mountain of limbs and fury, leaving only silence and the chasm yawning behind it. Kyra extended a hand. Ethan took it, bloodied, bruised, alive. The Talon pulsed, calm now as if approving. But beyond the shadows, a new hum began. A signal, alien and relentless. Something worse was coming, and this trial was only the beginning. The hum from the chasm never stopped. It was a heartbeat that belonged to something bigger, older, unstoppable. Ethan and Kyra climbed higher, the temple spires now looming like jagged teeth against the black sky. From the shadows, movement, thousands. Drakari reinforcements, faster and smarter than before. Kyra hissed, "They're adapting." Ethan tightened his grip on the Talon. Every strike from yesterday had been a lesson. Today, survival depended on strategy. They ducked behind fractured walls as plasma arcs seared the stone above. One patrol breached their cover, only to fall to Ethan's lightning-fast counterattack. The Talon's edge gleamed, cutting with precision only a human mind could anticipate. They sprinted across a collapsing bridge, gaps yawning beneath them. Kyra's laughter, sharp and anxious, echoed. "They want us to panic." Ethan thought of every fight, every loss, every lesson. Panic was a weapon the enemy could never have against him. He timed his movements, baiting the Drakari into the crumbling architecture. One by one they fell, not through brute force, but through cunning trap setting and the Talon's unearthly guidance. A distant rumble, not stone collapsing this time. The temple itself was awakening. From the central spire, a pulse of energy rippled outward, bending reality, reshaping the battlefield. Ethan realized with a chill that the Talon had prepared him for this, but even it might not be enough. Above, something massive stirred, its silhouette blotting out the stars. The ground quaked as if the planet itself feared what was coming. Ethan's breath steadied. He knew humanity wasn't just about strength. It was about adaptation, courage, and ingenuity. And soon they would need all three. The pulse guided them, not by sight but by instinct. The Talon vibrated, urging forward. Every step into the temple's core felt like walking into another dimension. Walls bending, light folding, gravity questioning itself. Kyra whispered, "The monolith! It's alive." Ethan didn't argue. The air was thick with energy, thick with intent. Alien glyphs glowed, forming patterns he could barely comprehend. And then the voice came, not spoken, but projected directly into his mind. Human, worthy? A test not of skill, not of survival, of will. Ethan's choices. Every instinct, every decision, every human flaw, it all mattered. A series of shifting platforms, walls that closed and opened unpredictably, traps that required timing, logic, and intuition. The Drakari, sensing the monolith's pulse, were converging, relentless and deadly. Ethan led, Kyra covering. Every movement a symphony of human cunning and alien resonance. One wrong step would mean annihilation, yet the Talon guided him through each lethal dance. Every strike, every leap, every calculated pause revealed the growing truth. Humanity could evolve, even against impossible odds. A shadow detached from the walls, a being of pure energy. Massive, fluid, and intelligent, it moved to test them, to push them beyond endurance. Ethan faced it, weapon humming. The Talon and his mind were synchronized, and for the first time, he realized human ingenuity wasn't just a survival tool, it was evolution in action. And yet the core of the monolith still loomed, pulsing, waiting. The monolith's heart was a storm of raw power. Ethan approached, feeling the Talon resonate violently. The being of energy intercepted, a swirling tempest of light and thought. Combat now wasn't just physical, it was mental, emotional, instinctive. Every choice mattered. Every hesitation could fracture reality. Kyra fought beside him, a blur of precision, yet even she was forced back by the entity's intelligence. Ethan realized the Talon was teaching more than combat. It was teaching him the rhythm of the universe itself, the interplay of timing, cause and consequence. A pulse erupted, throwing them both to the edge of a void. Ethan grabbed Kyra's hand. "Trust me," he shouted. One calculated move, a feint and pivot, and the entity's energy was redirected, trapped by its own overreach. The monolith responded. A voice echoed through the void. Human, adaptable, worthy. Its pulse harmonized with the Talon, with Ethan's heartbeat. In that instant he understood. Survival wasn't about outmatching power. It was about outthinking it, anticipating it and embracing what made humanity human. Yet as the glow subsided, revealing the path forward, Ethan saw movement beyond the monolith. An even greater threat awaited, one the Talon had not prepared him for. The final trial was coming, and humanity would have to rise or fall. The air rippled as if the monolith itself breathed. Ethan, Kyra, and the Talon stood at the edge of a floating platform, suspended above an endless void. Beyond, shadows stretched, shapes vast enough to blot out stars. The Drakari commanders now augmented by energies no human mind could fully comprehend. Ethan's hands tightened on the Talon. Each choice now bore catastrophic weight. A misstep could shatter, more than their lives. It could fracture the universe's fragile balance. "We're not just fighting them," Kyra said, her voice a steel whisper. "We're showing them what humanity is capable of." The first strike came, lightning arcs and crushing blows, aimed to annihilate in a single motion. Ethan countered, drawing not only on skill but on prediction. Every human instinct, every past failure was now a weapon. The Talon responded in kind, glowing, bending physics, creating openings that only a human mind could exploit. They fought through waves of augmented Drakari, each one more intelligent, more adaptive than the last. Ethan set traps mid-combat, luring enemies into their own overreach. Kyra moved with lethal grace, covering angles only a human could anticipate. Humanity's edge wasn't raw power, it was creativity, adaptability, and audacity. Then came the pulse, a new threat, raw and immense. The monolith itself seemed to convulse, releasing a storm that threatened to annihilate friend and foe alike. Ethan realized the truth. This was no longer a battle, it was a crucible. Only those who could evolve fast enough would survive. The platform quaked, tearing apart. Ethan leaped, dragging Kyra through the void. Behind them, the storm surged, and something massive stirred. They landed atop a spire of translucent crystal, the void beneath threatening to consume them. Above, the shadowed titan of the Drakari Supreme Command moved with impossible speed. Its eyes glowed with cognition beyond instinct. It was testing humanity. Ethan's mind raced. Patterns, predictions, probabilities. The Talon interfaced with him like a second consciousness. He understood now. Victory would not come from striking first, but from thinking faster than a creature born for war. Kyra unleashed her energy strikes, drawing attention while Ethan maneuvered, predicting not only attacks but consequences. The Titan adapted, but each adaptation was anticipated, countered. Humanity wasn't just surviving, it was teaching evolution. A sudden pulse tore through the void. Ethan caught a glimpse. The monolith's core had begun shifting, its energy flowing outward, reshaping reality itself. One wrong decision could trap them in eternal nothingness. He calculated, hesitated for a heartbeat, and acted. The Titan lunged. Ethan pivoted, using the Talon's resonance to redirect the attack, breaking the enemy's form into manageable fragments. But fragments weren't enough. The core still awaited. Still tested, still challenged every limit of human capability. Kyra's eyes widened. Ethan, it's not finished. He nodded. Humanity's greatest trial was here at the edge of infinity itself. The monolith's heart pulsed like a living sun. Ethan and Kyra approached cautiously, every step a negotiation with reality. The Talon glowed brighter than ever, syncing with their heartbeat. The final test wasn't just combat, it was judgment. A voice resonated, echoing inside their minds. Human, worthy or extinct? Ethan thought of Earth, of every failure and triumph, of ingenuity, courage, and sacrifice. He raised the Talon, the weapon hummed, not as a blade, but as a conduit of human will. Every decision, every calculation, every human instinct poured through it. The monolith reacted, testing every boundary, shifting reality, challenging their perception of time and space. But Ethan adapted. Kyra adapted. They moved as one, thinking, feeling, evolving faster than the monolith could anticipate. A final pulse erupted. Light consumed shadow. Energy warped into order. When it settled, the void was still but not empty. The Drakari remnants were gone, dissolved, or integrated. The monolith's core now pulsed in harmony with the Talon. As if acknowledging humanity's triumph, Ethan lowered the Talon. Kyra exhaled. For a moment, silence, a victory not of brute force, but of intellect, courage, and the unyielding human spirit. Above, stars returned. A new dawn, not just for them, but for humanity itself. And yet somewhere deep in the cosmos, the pulse of distant eyes reminded them, evolution never ends.